You might be paying for a Suno Pro subscription, releasing tracks on YouTube, Spotify, or TikTok, and still not have the copyright you think you have. In this video, I'm going to break down, in plain English, what actually changed in Suno's terms of service updated on November 6, 2025. What rights you really have over your AI songs, and where the biggest legal traps are right now. Let's get into it. Suno updated its terms of service on November 6, 2025. Those rules apply to the website, the mobile apps, and any use of the service, including Suno Studio and the remix features. From now on, everything I explain in this video is based on that version of the terms. Let's start with what you can do with your music, depending on your plan. If you're on a paid plan, Pro or Premier, Suno says it assigns to you all of its right, title, and interest in the output you generate while your paid subscription is active. In practical terms, that means you can use those songs in your videos, you can release them on streaming platforms, and you can monetize them. So far, that sounds great. But here comes the big catch. Suno also says that, because of the nature of machine learning, they do not guarantee that your song is unique. They do not promise that your use of the output will not infringe somebody else's rights, and they do not promise that any copyright will actually vest in that output. So yes, with Pro or Premier, you can use your songs commercially, but if there is a legal problem, you are the one in charge, not Suno. If that worries you, stay with me, because later I'll explain how to work a bit more safely and what professional producers are actually doing with AI tracks right now. Now let's talk about the free tier. If you're on the free or basic plan, the rules are very different. Suno says you can only use your output for lawful, internal, personal, and non-commercial purposes, and you must give attribution to Suno every time you use that music. So with the free plan, you cannot legally treat those tracks as professional releases. No commercial distribution, no selling, and they should not be used as if they were fully licensed music for your business. There is another detail that almost nobody mentions. If you create a song on the free tier, and later you upgrade to Pro or Premier, that old song does not automatically become a Pro song just because you are paying now. It keeps the rules from the moment it was created. If you have a track you made on the free plan, and you think it has real potential, the safest options are to regenerate a final version while you are already on a paid plan, or to use it only as a demo and then re-record it outside of Suno with your own instruments and vocals. Now let's talk about the license you give to Suno, including your lyrics. Suno uses two important words, submissions and output. Submissions are everything you upload or type in. Your lyrics, your audio, your prompts. Output is what the AI generates for you. Together, Suno calls all of that content. By using the service, you grant Suno a worldwide, royalty-free, sub-licensable, assignable, perpetual, and irrevocable license to use, store, modify, create derivative works from, distribute, display, and perform your content, and to use it to monetize, promote, and improve their products and their AI and machine learning models. That includes your lyrics, even if you wrote them completely by yourself. They are not saying that they become the author of your lyrics, but they are saying that you gave them a very broad permission to use that material inside their ecosystem forever without paying you anything extra beyond access to the service. They also say they can make your output available in public places like Discord, and that other users may be able to view, download, modify, and copy it, unless you change your settings to keep your output private. On top of that, in many countries, they ask you to waive so-called moral rights connected to that content. So registering your song or your lyrics in your name can still help you against other people, but it does not undo the license that you already granted to Suno when you used the platform. There is another important risk with lyrics. If you put a very personal or very original lyric into Suno, the AI can learn patterns from it and later generate something similar for another user. It might not be a word-for-word copy, but it can be close in style or structure. That's why, if a lyric is really valuable to you, the professional approach is to register it in your country first and then experiment with AI versions afterwards. That way, if there is ever a conflict, you can prove that your text existed before you sent it to Suno. Now, let's talk about remixes. This is where things get fun, but also dangerous. If you activate features that allow other users to remix your output inside Suno, the terms say that every remix created with those features is a joint work. It is owned jointly and equally by you and the remixer, but only to the extent that copyright actually exists in that remix. And then comes the really restrictive part. No matter if you are on the free plan, pro, or premier, if you are a joint owner of a remix generated with these features, you agree that the remix may only be used for lawful, internal, personal, and non-commercial purposes, with attribution to Suno. So in simple terms, your original track made on Pro or Premier can be used commercially. The remix made through Suno's remix feature cannot be used commercially. Even if you pay, even if the other person is okay with it, the remix generated inside that system is stuck in the non-commercial zone. If you don't want this problem at all, the safest move is to turn off any remix or allow remixes style features, keep your tracks private inside Suno, or do remixes outside of Suno in your DAW using your own stems and your own plugins. None of this is a magic shield, but here are some practical steps that actually help. First, document everything. Save your prompts, project names, and the dates when you created each track. Keep your invoices or receipts for your Pro or Premier subscription. For important tracks, take screenshots of the terms of service on the day you generate them. Think of all that as your black box if there is ever a dispute. Second, check if your song is too close to something famous. If you want a simple method to check for similarities between your songs and already registered music, comment copy, and I'll explain how you can do it. Before you release a track for real, don't just trust your memory. Use music recognition tools and content ID systems to see if your song gets matched to an existing track. Third, for serious releases, re-record or rebuild. If you truly believe in a track and want to push it hard, for labels, sync, or campaigns, the most professional workflow right now is to use Suno as a demo or sketch tool, then re-record everything in your DAW with real or virtual instruments and real vocals, and treat the Suno version as a reference, not as the final master. That way, the performance and recording are clearly yours. You avoid the robotic AI vocal feel, and you gain much more control over the final mix and sound. All these explanations are based on Suno's terms of service dated November 6th, 2025. They can change those terms at any time, so it is always smart to check their official site from time to time to see if something important has been updated. This video is informational only. It is not formal legal advice. If you are planning a big release, a sync deal, or anything serious with a specific song, talk to an intellectual property lawyer in your country. So now you know what Pro and Premier really give you, why Free and Basic are strictly non-commercial, how broad the license is that you give to Suno over your content, why remixes are joint works but stuck in non-commercial land, and what you can do to work more like a professional in this new AI music world. If this helped you make sense of Suno's new rules, hit like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments. Are you on Free, Pro, or Premier? And are you using Suno just for demos or for serious releases? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.